Lilith, mother of demons, queen of vampires, ruler of harlots, and the empress of evil, is a deity that has haunted mankind since the time of the Sumerians and right up to the present days. She is mentioned in ancient Sumerian manuscripts as Lil, and was feared as a devastating storm demon. Her name would later be associated with the Semitic word Lael, which signifies the night. Lilith has been feared, but has also been desired due to her mythical beauty. She haunts both men and women at night, and she seduces those who are asleep with sexual pleasures that surpass anything that could be generated on the mundane level. Lilith is mentioned in old Jewish texts like the Zohar and the Talmud, and in the Alphabet Ben Sira manuscript, the classic story about Lilith is told. She was the first wife of Adam and was created independently of him. This led to the situation as we have previously discussed. When she refused to lay beneath her husband, Adam, Lilith withdrew into the desert where she met the damned and banished creatures of creation, and she is regarded as the mother of the demons. In Jewish mysticism, Lilith is the original moon that radiated from its own force and thus refused to yield to the sun. Therefore, the moon was punished by only being allowed to reflect the light of the sun. Lilith is the primeval feminine force that has been banished since there was no room for it. In Lilith's stead has been placed Eve. Eve is the good, cool woman who subordinates herself to the bidding of the male god. Lilith is the hot and dark demoness who was forced into exile. Through her condemnation, Lilith has passed into a shadowy existence and become a Qliphotic existence. The lunar aspect of Lilith chiefly belongs to the Qlipha, Gamaliel, over which she rules. Lilith is both a Qlipha and a demoness. As a Qlipha, she is the wild and dark nature that is the night side of the material plane and that opens the gates to the other side. As a demoness, she rules the Gamaliel Qlipha that corresponds to the dark side of the moon and the forbidden regions of the dream plane. The Lilith Qlipha corresponds to the wild and the carnal. Lilith is called the soul of the wild animals, and she is also Mother Earth in her more violent aspects. Among the ancient Sumerians, she was called Lil and was the destructive storms and hurricanes. She is the aspect of physical existence of man that cannot be controlled. Thus, man attempts to deny and repress these parts by creating a structure for his existence in which this wild force is unable to fit. But this force, nonetheless, ceaselessly penetrates our structures with its wild force and breaks all attempts at creating a peaceful Eden. Lilith will not lie beneath. This can be viewed as a metaphor of the Mother Earth who does not allow herself to be exploited. At any given moment, she can open her womb and swallow man's phallic monuments. She is the earthquake that devours the skyscrapers and church towers in her womb, and she is the gothic darkness that awakens the demons, even in the mind of the sensible atheist. Romantic ruin artists such as Caspar David Friedrich and Arnold Böcklin depict in their work how the sublime forces of nature conquer human civilization. The paintings of these artists that describe how a dark and grand nature opens the gate to the other side present the magician with a good picture of how Lilith Qlipha might appear. Lilith is the mother of demons, and it is within her that the magician must seek the other Qlipha. It is toward her that the dark magical pentagram is pointing. The pentagram of dark magic points down toward the earth, the soil, toward ancient times, and the primordial. It is here that one finds the Qlipha. The Qlipha are the reality that we refuse to see. A dark magician does not, like the adept of the light tradition, stare up to the heavens in search of some heavenly utopian world. A dark magician gazes down towards the earth to seek the treasures that have been hidden for thousands of years. The womb of Lilith is the gate to the underworld and the spheres of the Qlipha, and the magician must penetrate into Lilith to be able to reach the unconscious regions in which unimaginable treasures, forces, and abilities can be found. It is also from her womb that the magician conjures the demons of the Qlipha. The womb of Lilith is the grave that the Dark Adept freely enters, down into the kingdom of death and the underworld in an initiatory journey toward rebirth. Actually, to find the Lilith Qlipha is the first difficulty for the Qliphotic magician. Lilith is the anti-world to our mundane world, Malkuth. This means that it exists in the middle of our world, but in aspects of which man is normally unaware. Through an exploration of principles of which the mundane world consists, one can find the Lilith Qlipha by going beyond and against these principles. The normal awakened state of mind is the basic level of consciousness in human existence. Sleep is the absence of the awakened state, and the sleep is also the womb of the Lilith Qlipha. Repressed parts of our mind appear in dreams and can often take on a demonic shape, reflecting both our desire and our fear. The Lilith Qlipha can open in most unexpected ways and in the most unexpected places. A bench in the middle of the city, which for some mysterious reason is rarely chosen or even seen by pedestrians, might be a gate to the worlds of Lilith. A quaint word spoken in a peculiar context might be the formula that causes her womb to open. An effective way to contact the Lilith Qlipha is to go out in the wild at night and meditate on the shadows and the darkness where objects are no longer visible and instead blur into a dark mist. This is where Lilith can be found. This darkness is her womb, and this is the goal of the magician's invocations. Countless incantations have been used in attempts to banish Lilith, but for dark magicians in all ages, invocations to contact her have also been created. If the following formula is chanted 13 times, Lilith is supposed to appear. I will not be saying these words. During contact with a Lilith Qlipha, an abstract idea or a strong emotional impulse might be received. In other instances, the magician might encounter the demon ruler of the Qlipha or enter the Qliphotic tunnels. The Lilith Qlipha is ruled by a demoness called Nama. She has been called the daughter or younger sister of Lilith. In visions, she appears as a mighty queen, dressed in precious garments and jewels. Sometimes she is seductive, but other times she might have a tyrannical character. When the magician wants to channel the force of the Qlipha, Nama is called upon. This force is mainly used in rituals regarding the influence and control of the material level. Lilith is the dark side of the Shekinah, and she corresponds to the Gnostic Sophia and the Tantric Shakti. The Shekinah, Sophia, and Shakti are the wisdom and force that are concealed on the material plane. When she awakens, this dark and hidden goddess can bring man to divine level. In myths, this goddess is compared to a serpent and corresponds to the terrible primordial force that existed at the beginning of time before the male god of light created the world. She is Leviathan, or Tiamat, the ancient chaos that existed before the cosmos was created. In the Tantric tradition, Lilith appears as the goddess Kali. Kali is the wild red force that dances in ecstasy and destroys with one hand and creates with the other. She is both the poison that brings sleep and at the same time the wisdom that can awaken. Kali corresponds to the latent volcano that broods in man and is called the Kundalini, which is often likened to a serpent or a dragon. In Tantric terminology, Lilith corresponds to the backside or inside of the Muladhara chakra. The Muladhara is the energy zone that is located between the anus and the genitals, which is where the sleeping dragon, Kundalini, rests. One way to contact Lilith is to meditate on the Muladhara chakra. The Muladhara is compared to a red lotus, and the magician should meditate on the backside of the lotus in this case. Here, the first Qliphotic cave can be found in which the dragon rests before its awakening. And that is the Qlipha of Lilith, or in Mather's Qlipha is called Nama. So this is one out of 10 Qliphotic rulers / regions of the underworld. If you enjoyed the description and the read-along, please do consider subscribing. There will be more, since there are a lot more devils to go through. But this is the first step in the Draconian path. And by the end of this, I will let you guys know my thoughts of who and what has taken this path. But until then, enjoy the read-alongs. Consider subscribing and helping me on my road to 3.5k subs by the end of November. Only do it if you like the content on the channel. If not, no harm, no foul. But you guys let me know in the comment section below what you guys thought of this video and the description of Lilith / Nama. I'm going to be using this Lilith instead of Nama when we mention, just because, as it just said, Nama is also considered either a younger sister of Lilith or another version, a younger version of Lilith. And if you've been on this channel, you guys understand my viewpoint on the Liliths in this story. But anyway, feel free to contact me with any questions, comments, concerns, death threats, and I will see you in the next video. Make sure you have your notifications on. This has been Jack Goes to Go. You either know or you don't.